allow the children.
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle so they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Maiyegun diary politico.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun diary, IBB number 1.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti
Presidiot bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun mami.
Àní ẹ̀ sọ́ra jù.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Hello there. So good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. I think I even need to take this off. You know, good evening to you from wherever you are joining me. It is Maiyegun. So this is where I can get a bit of my privacy, right? That is why I have to come into the car, you know. So thank you so much for joining me. Remember, all you have to do first is read the caption of the broadcast. The description of the broadcast is not so much, even though I've come with a lot to share with us as well today. But listen, share the broadcast after you liking the broadcast. Okay, share it. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Maiyegun is live. It's awkward, right? That we just have to improvise on Maiyegun's Diary Political right here because I am currently away from base. But we are still pretty much following the development, the actions and the inactions of those who are in charge of that contraption called Nigeria. Just so you understand where we are and why we are here we are. But in the last, it was actually yesterday. I wanted to say in the last 48 hours. Well, I can say that from 48 hours ago. The last time I had a WeChat with us. So they said that, not that, they said, in fact, IBB has published a book that he called his personal memoir, which is to tell his own side of the story of all the role he played in bringing Nigeria to where Nigeria is today. The players, those ones that are dead and those ones that are still alive. So he decided to write a book. And in that book, he presented himself as this faint-hearted military officer who had no much power except for what his subordinates wanted. That's how he presented himself. He did nothing wrong in all the, starting from the revenge coup of 1966 down to the period of the genocidal war, then straight down to the coup that removed the first democratically elected president of Nigeria, Shagari, in 1983. So his own role in installing Bokwari, as well as his role in removing Bokwari as well, locking him up for 30 months, according to them. So 30 months, and then his own eventual annulment of the election, purportedly to have been won by his very close friend, MKO Abiola. So that is what brought a lot of these guys together yesterday in Abuja, because it is not really safe in Mina. So in Abuja, we are TINUBU, Pastor Ruga, Egberi Julantan, and Oban Paro, Dan Juma, and many others like that were actually, present, including Dangote, Boa, and all these, system billionaires of Nigeria. And guess what? They were all kind of like eulogizing Babangida, including TINUBU. TINUBU even said, okay, not TINUBU, it's Pastor Ruga. Pastor Ruga Ikene Shatabandu was the one who said that when Abacha, right, overthrew Shonekon, that Abacha now dissolved the National Assembly, that the only senator that wanted to reconvene the National Assembly was TINUBU. That's not true. That is absolute lie. When he said it, he passed it on like that. He said when TINUBU wanted to reconvene the National Assembly, that was when Abacha arrested him. Abacha now locked TINUBU up, but TINUBU broke away and he went into exile. Pastor Ruga lied. That's one of the lies, okay? But they are elites who kind of like, you scrub my back, I scrub your back of a thing, okay? So Pastor Ruga lied. about TINUBU and who TINUBU was to start with. But they clapped, they all laughed. I was like, there was never in history that TINUBU broke out of jail. There was no way in history that Abacha arrested TINUBU and locked him up in any prison. There is no record of that. Nothing like that happened. But this is how they kind of like, formed their different stories that, to motivate those of you who listen to them to start with. So to the point that when did TINUBU break out of prison? He didn't break out of any prison. He was never locked up in any prison. There was a fear of he was going to be arrested by Abacha. That was the zobo they sold. Meanwhile, he was actually in bed with Abacha. Seriously. He was in bed with Abacha. But on the political front, he is one of the people Abacha claimed to be the ethno-religious politicians who are banking on the division of Nigerians on ethnic, tribal, religious line. Abacha had a video that he said the reason why he had to kind of perpetuate himself in power, that he wanted to be the president for life. When he wanted to switch from Kaki to Agbada, and he was the only candidate adopted by 5 political parties in 1995. So the reason why he said, the Nigerian politicians they are like, duplicitous, they are evil, this and that. They will say anything and everything about their fellow Nigerians using the tribe, ethnic, and all that stuff to divide the people. Abacha said that. TINUBU was one of them. He was in bed with Abacha. He was in and out of Abacha's villa at the time. I mean, similarly, this one, what is his name again? Maiyegun General, right? Was also in bed. Those ones where they do Nadeko that time. Some of them were actually in bed with Abacha. So to Abacha, they are just one greedy selfish scums, right? But how about TINUBU became a target of arrested by Abacha, and that was passed on by Pastor Ruga, a pastor, lying pastor, and they clapped. Egbere Jolantan was there to tell his own story about how Babangida influenced his life. TINUBU was there as well to say that it was Babangida that motivated them to join politics. So Babangida has so much influence on all of them. They used to be enemies, but they are now friends, blah, 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 blah. Well, I saw that one yesterday. A lot of stuff happened though. But that's the one we are going to start with in our gist this evening. How are the cope, Sha? Like one day on, one day off on Maiyegun's Diary Political. To those of you who have been like, you have your routine on Maiyegun's Diary. But these days, you just have to be like, I hope I catch him. I hope I catch him. And yeah, I don't know how it has been for some of you, but it's kind of like mixed. It's like a mixed one for me. But we are enjoying this. We are enjoying America. We are enjoying Houston. All right. The people here have been so wonderful as well. So somehow, I still feel like there's a vacuum to fill. That's why we can always share this few moments together. Maybe every 2 days until we return back to Glasgow, and then we can, have it properly. So yeah, Pastor Ruga was there, and there were billionaires who also raised billions of naira, okay, to build a library for Babangida. All right. So let's start with that of Pastor. Okay, hang on. Then Babangida himself at some point now said it is true that his friend actually won the election, but it was some people who insisted that he must not be declared winner and he must not be, he must never hand over power to him. That is MKO Abiola. So which one should we start from? Okay, I think let's first hear all the lies that some of these guys are going to spew, starting with Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu.
And then, of course, there's a gentleman here who was an elected senator in 1992 in the course of Babangida's transition program. When Babangida annulled the 1993 election and General Abacha took over and dissolved the Senate, that senator tried to reconstitute the Senate in resistance to the dissolution. He was detained, charged to court. He escaped into exile. Today, he is also here to celebrate with his former tormentors. But as President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed TINUBU. The third reason why this 420-page book is important is because it unveils one of the most enigmatic leaders that Nigeria has ever had. A man who some called Maradona, others described as the evil genius, bearing his mind, in his own words, in writing for the first time since he left office 32 years ago. In this compelling account, he tells of his early life in Minna, his parents, his siblings, Babangida, from childhood to the highest levels of public service. It is the story or stories of a journey of a nation, our nation, Nigeria. It is the Nigerian story, complex, sometimes unpredictable, sometimes stranger than fiction, but always fascinating. Many of the key figures in this book and who shaped the history of our country are here with us today. And that tells another story all by itself. And that is something truly unique about Nigeria. Our ability to move beyond the past, no matter how bitter and no matter how adversarial our past relationships may have been, and to still come together. So seated amongst us here today is General Yakubu Gowon, who became Nigeria's head of state at the age of 32, led the country for 9 years. His government was overthrown in 1975 by a coup involving the then Brigadier Olusegun Obasanjo and the then Brigadier Theophilus Danjuma, and the author himself, I confirm, the then Lieutenant Colonel Babangida, who was then commander of the newly formed Armored Corps. Also involved in that coup were the then Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Bello, who is here also, and Lieutenant Colonel Sani Sami. Yet, here we are today with former President Obasanjo, General Danjuma, and of course the author himself, present, not as adversaries of the author, but as witnesses to history, celebrating a fellow statesman. In a striking turn of fate, the author notes that it was President Obasanjo who, after the tragic assassination of General Murtala Mohammed, insisted that a young Lieutenant Colonel Babangida be appointed to the Supreme Military Council, making him the youngest member at the time. Also represented here is the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, another leader whose path intertwined with Babangida. It was former President Babangida who played a key role in the coup that brought President Buhari to power in 1983. But later, in another coup that removed him and brought Babangida himself into power. Yet today, President Buhari is represented at this occasion, celebrating the man who overthrew him and detained him for 3.5 years, his one-time old adversary, former President Babangida. And then, of course,
as Pastor Ruga, being Pastor Ruga, you know, the part lie, which was the one I treated before I played you the video, is that Abacha arrested TINUBU, locked him in jail, and TINUBU escaped. She gets that never happened. Never. TINUBU was a drug dealer who at the time needed the Nigerian political system to clear his way in and possibly hide behind that in case if Kasala bust. So he became a senator elect, or a senator rather, in 1992. When Abacha struck, so you get majority of those who knows Abacha very well and what he's up to left Nigeria. And as you know, some of them decided to form what they called the NADECO then, National Democratic Coalition, to fight Abacha and make sure that Abiola got his mandate back. He never did. They murdered him and his wife, Kudirat Abiola. So at that same occasion, where Pastor Ruga just dropped his lamba and they all laughed, we used to be enemies, we are friends now, for national this, blah, 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 blah. I'm still going to show you that of TINUBU. It's just that I should have started with the boring one first. I don't know which one is more boring. Nonsense ni abi TINUBU bulaba jargons ni. Whichever way, there's not much difference. But let's start with that of Egbere Jolantan.
I should stand up. You know, in the committee of the president, I am the most junior. So I'm only waiting when President TINUBU will finish serving. So that when we go for a kind of state meeting, I'll get somebody that will sit by my left. Thank you. Today is a great day, and I wouldn't take much of your time. President Babangida brought us today to celebrate his history of service in the launch of a book, A Journey in Service, and also to launch his presidential library. These are two noble things. We've not read the book, so just like in those days when they were selling drink, they say liquid content only. So we can talk about the bottle, not the liquid content. So Abraham Babangida, we all know, has been one of the most charismatic leaders in this country. He's somebody that up to date, people go as if they are going on pilgrimage to consult him. We thank God for giving you that grace and the wisdom to continue to mentor people. In terms of your leadership, Nigerians know you contributed significantly in terms of the infrastructural development of the country and the social mobilization. We cannot write this to Nigeria without dedicating a reasonable part to your service as the President of Nigeria. You've done well. And of course, we are launching his memoir today. It's a significant document. The keynote speaker mentioned that, so I don't need to emphasize. Every president makes history. And other key historical factors make history, but they don't contribute to the documentation. And if you contribute to the documentation of the history, it makes your history stronger, more relevant, and more actual. I also hope that one day I will do my own. But I'm waiting for my seniors that are here before I will think about my own. So today you are helping us, and somehow the concept of presidential library comes from the United States system. When I left office, the first 6 months, I toured America and I visited most of the presidential libraries there. And the presidential libraries are treated as federal government assets. So, Mr. President, you need to set up a department in the Secretary of Government Office. The American government helped because they are source of history. If any scholar wants to know what happened at a segment of history, he goes to these presidential libraries. So the American government helped in the management of the presidential library. That's why all American presidents have presidential libraries, which I visited quite a number of them. And I'm happy that in Nigeria today, we are launching the second one. OBASANJO has built his own, and now President Babangida is launching his own. We will all be going there from time to time to read about the history of Nigeria. So thank you.
nuisance lele.
As usual, Egbere Jolantan is more interested in, building presidential libraries, just like the Americans are, they have done. So we are going to wait for him to build his. And then maybe Bukwari too will build his own presidential library or Katu library or something. Then the certificate forger, TINUBU, would need a presidential library too. But by the way, contributing money. Dangote said he was going to give them, he's going to give them 2 billion naira, 2 billion naira every year for the next 4 years. And if the project is not completed by then, it will continue to give them 2 billion naira every year until the project is completed. Babangida library, Or inside Babangida's book, which people have been, they've started reviewing what is inside the book. So we're going to get to that part, okay? But the part where Babangida is unable to still take responsibility, for the annulment of June 12, which is what these rogues used in deceiving the people like they are democratic. We are democratic. We are progressives. We mean why they are just progressives. So Babangida said indeed his friend won, but he was too kind of like powerless to make any difference or stop the annulment, according to him.
Yes, today, undoubtedly, credible, free and fair elections were held on June 12, 1993. However, the tragic irony of history remains that the administration that devised a near-perfect electoral system and conducted those near-perfect elections could not complete the process. That accident of history is most regrettable. The nation is entitled to expect my impression of regret. As the leader of the military administration, I accept full responsibility for all decisions taken under my watch. And June 12 happened under my watch. Mistakes, oversights, and missteps happen in quick succession. But I say in my book, in all matters we acted in the supreme national interest so that Nigeria could survive. Our nation's march to democracy was interrupted, a fact that I deeply regret, but Nigeria survived and democracy is still alive, a testament to our resilience and commitment to progress. This book is part of my personal story of that encounter today. Undoubtedly,
he takes responsibility for all the actions taken under his watch by himself and other people around him. He admitted that indeed June 12 actually happened and then it got annulled, But to him, he said Nigeria survived despite all of that, all of that turmoil. Nigeria survived. You still have democracy, which is a pseudo-democracy, by the way, fake democracy. So that's something, You have a fake democracy where you have no real rights, per se. If your sort of freedom of your citizenship, your freedom of expression, freedom of association contradicts the position of those in the government, then you will lose that your own right to them. Fake democracy, Degree 24 democracy, kind of. So it was like a garden that everybody was just like, However, Babangida said, whatever happened now, maybe there's nothing anybody can do about it anymore. So go and buy my book and read about the roles everybody played, but not me, because I was just a figurehead. I was just there. I couldn't really do anything different, right? So people were analyzing that part, by the way. They were analyzing the part where he said he couldn't do anything, and they were like, "You, the one that went after, Oka, you went after Vasta, your Abina Vasta, your own best man on your wedding, and you killed him because of a coup. That it's obvious that's just like trumped up charges and all that. So, but when it comes to the June 12th, that is the moment that you became powerless, kind of. So that was Babangida. And yes, they gave him a lot of money too. 2 billion naira. Dangote donated 2 billion. Theophilus Danjuma, a retired general, donated 2 billion. Hey. And so many of them too donated in billions. Even Boa, Abinabao, donated 2 billion. So they raised over 10 billion naira for Babangida's presidential library, by the way. Just like OBASANJO's library too. But Kolu was there, like I said. I'm sorry that, the boring one, I don't know which one is more horrible. It will be complete if we don't hear from the Bulaba himself. What did he tell them there? Because they presented Bulaba as somebody who actually physically fight for democracy in Nigeria, and that is the narrative that they want everybody to believe and hold on to. But that is not true. Do you understand what I mean? It is not true. As much as they pretended to be fighting for Abiola's mandate, this Abiola's mandate, that, right? Majority of them were also going into Abacha's place, like they are playing both sides. That is why Abacha said they should go and kill that Oshob at that time, but he escaped. He went to Abuja. He always went to Abuja to go and collect money, all right, in the name of representing the Yorubas and all that. So in one of those trips, he went to Abuja. So once you cross the toll gates, that's what kind of like saved his life anyway. Oshoba, you know that Oshoba, Bisia Konde and Co, right? Oshoba from Ogun State. He was a journalist, all right? So a journalist that was once working for Abiola himself. So majority of them were presenting themselves as people who were fighting Abacha. They were not fighting Abacha. They were not. Some of them were even like willing and ready to join Abacha's government as much as possible. Even Peter Obi too was also with Abacha, right? I think he was appointed as Port Authority Director or something at the time. I'm not sure his exact role, but he was also working with Abacha. So majority of those who are presenting themselves as fighting democracy, they didn't fight for any democracy. They were comfortably working, those who are working openly and those who are working covertly, right? Pretending to be fighting for MKOs, this and that. Anyway, long story short. Kolu is now presented as one of the people that fought the military. Really? Did he? But we'll go here waiting Kolu had to say at that book launch, by the way.
32 years after, to give us an account of stewardship, service. Your Excellencies, it is very difficult to find the array of people that are present here, if not because of your personality, character, and impact. Nana Akpabiole, thank you for that keynote remarks and your contribution and ECOWAS commitment to African sovereignty. To Brother Crowan, well, I met you before I became president, and I have interacted with you. Fate has brought us together again, not knowing you are close to our family. Thank all of you. To the father General go on. I'm glad of the restoration of your ranks and everything. We learn history from you, from the concept. Thank you for who you are and your commitment to nation building. Thank you. To former President Akpabiole Jonathan, we always, interact, sometimes we argue about the future of this country. We find our leaders here. The situation that brought us together and the one that we continue from this moment on. The revolutionary courage that brought leadership out to build our country. I'm glad that, about what is happening in America and Europe, the contradiction that we are seeing now all over. What is it telling us? It's telling us to wake up, to make Africa a better place, particularly this country, Nigeria. I've seen so much of responsibility and the need to take some decisions on behalf of this country. I want to thank all of you for your mandate, your patience, your perseverance. Whatever might have happened, the hallmark of the truth from our dear leader, father, uncle, General Babangida. Without you, people like me, I won't be in politics. A progressive revolution. Say that you want young, brilliant people in politics. We are with you in November.
Nuisance lele.
Did you make sense out of what TINUBU they talk? Because now so TINUBU they talk. You get all jargons all together, but sometimes you will be saying things right that somehow you want to follow him on that. Say okay, okay, right, go on, then it will just go like it's like going right, and then it will just dive to the left, to the far left, and then dive back again. Before you know it, Omo, you won't be able to actually hold him and say, what is he talking about? I mean, you heard the part where he said Babangida is a progressive. Babangida is progressive. Remember when you told us that you wanted the young people in politics? Without you, people like us can't be in politics. I'm at your age, He is happy now about the confusion going on in America, in Europe. I don't know what you mean by that confusion. No. Maybe he's referring to the fact that far-right political parties, they are taking over governments. Like they have, okay, right. People don't like to call themselves far-right, far-left. They're okay, the right, the far, well, they still call them far-right anyway. Far-right political parties taking offices. So what does that tell you? It tells you that you have to build Africa. We must build this Africa, especially this Nigeria. About you be the Presidiot, build it, we will see. Then he started talking about decision. You know, we have to make decisions. He's talking, see, what he's referring to is what some of this is praise singers, the court jesters, some of the words they have been, you know, regurgitating online by saying that the reason why all of you are facing this hardship in Nigeria is because TINUBU is making some very, very important critical decisions, and your future, you know, whatever you are suffering from now, don't worry, you get your reward back in the future. You know, that kind of a thing like that. That you get your reward back in the future. Suffer now, and enjoy later. So you get. That is what TINUBU is trying to to repeat in that video. I know it can be boring, right? But let's listen to the other part of what he had to say about Babangida's, you know, book launch in Abuja, and then we're going to go straight to Osun, where another clown, you know, is wearing a crown. Osun, but first, Kolu.
And when you look at the programs, some of the bankers and many of us that are here today about this library, about the project, it's all the happiness of a visionary Babangida. Thank you for what you are. It's not just an ordinary day for Nigeria. The book I've not read, I've taken my copy, and I will read it. One thing I cannot forget, you are in office. You recalled we were elected. You kept on postponing the inauguration. You summoned us to Abuja. And when we became rancorous, you summoned us to the International Conference Center. I was not expecting to make any comment. I was just listening in my own radical manner that this man will not inaugurate us again. But before we returned to the hotel, the hotel was locked. No key. But when I was summoned by daily code to make a remark, I confronted you. That you had an opportunity to make history that day, and you failed to do it. Why not inaugurate us? Why are you calling us back and postponing the inauguration day? They thought I will end up in jail. You came out right at the end of the remark. You shook me. I can't forget that speech. You are courageous. That's an inspiration that is so impactful in my own life, just for what you are. The few hours to set a day like this and put it together, for you, you deserve it. So many of the bankers, when we came to you, I've still then immobile.
I know. It can be annoying, right? Don't worry. It's just because it's been built as part of the broadcast, so we have to share it so that he can fill his own gap in there. So that's TINUBU right there, sharing his own personal experience with Babangida, and called him courageous, and all that stuff. It is a garden of the problem of Nigeria, if you have to ask me. Now, what do I say about that? That's the problem of Nigeria right there. But the elite in Nigeria, they live in their own different world. So they don't feel what you feel because you don't have any reason to. Do you understand? Even when they want to pretend to be, it's always like, end up as poor acting. So that was that on Babangida's book. The book is a journey of service, Abinka. That's what it's called. A journey of service, where Babangida spoke about or wrote about his roles in all that happened in Nigeria, including the civil war. There was a part of his book. There's a part that got screenshotted anyway. Let me see if I can read that part. It's it's page 38, where he spoke about the first coup in Nigeria. So it was like, no, the first coup is not Igbo coup. He was talking about Kaduna Ezegu. Let me see if I can put that up on my own device so that I was talking about Kaduna Ezegu on that page 38, right? For example, he said, it was a terrible time. At the last paragraph on the left, it was a terrible time for the Nigerian military, as I have said elsewhere. As a young officer who saw all this from a distance, probably ethnic sentiment did not drive the original objectives of these coup plotters. For instance, the head of the plotters, Major Kaduna Nzeogu, was only Igbo in name. Born and raised in Kaduna, his immigrant parents were from Okpanam in today's Delta State, which in 1966 was in the old Midwestern region. Nzeogu spoke fluent Hausa and was as Hausa as any. He and his original team probably thought, even if naively, that they could turn things around for the better in the country. So if you go to the third paragraph on the right, you see the part says, it should, however, be borne in mind that some senior officers of Igbo extraction were also victims of the January coup. For instance, my East-Y commander at the Reconnaissance Squadron in Kaduna, Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Chinyelu Unegbe, was brutally gunned down by his own brother, Major Chris Anuforo, in the presence of his pregnant wife at his 7 Point Road residence in Apapa for merely being a threat to the revolution. As a disciplined and strict officer who, as the Quartermaster General of the Army, was also in charge of ammunition, weapons, equipment, vehicles, and other vital items for the army, the coup plotters feared that he might not cooperate with them. So it should also be remembered that some non-Igbo officers like Major Adewale Ademoyega, Captain Ganiyu Adeleke, Lieutenant Fola Oyewole, and Olafimihon took part in the failed coup. Another officer of Igbo extraction, Major John Obienu, crushed the coup. Those who argue that the original intention of the coup plotters was anything but ethnic referred to the fact that the initial purpose of the plotters was to release Chief Obafemi Awolowo from prison immediately after the coup and make him, here is that part too, and make him the executive provisional president of Nigeria. The fact that these Igbo officers would do this to a man not known to be a great lover of the Igbos may have given the coup a different ethnic coloration. But again, I may be wrong here, since this view is speculative. I admit that my position here may be the naive insight of an unsuspecting young officer who viewed events from a distance. So that was Babangida, also pushing the generally established facts about the 1966 coup, which was kind of like, you know, corruptly, so to say, tagged the Igbo coup, and to push further the Cold War that has kept Nigeria more divided than ever since after the, you know, the genocidal war. So he said something about that in his book. I don't know if I'm actually reviewing it for you to become interested in wanting to read Babangida's book, but there's so much in there to unpack. So let's go to the National Assembly. Okay, yesterday was so dramatic, wasn't it? When Akpabiole again and Natasha Akpoti, the Kogi State senator, a female senator from Kogi State, Natasha, the lady that became the nightmare to Yeye Bello, right? So they said that Natasha said somehow she has been bullied. She has been under constant bullying, okay, in the hands of the supposed Nigerian Senate leadership, the National Assembly leadership. She didn't specify what kind of bullying and what have you. However, she said she's had enough. And she's not afraid of Akpabiole. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. Waiting up, go, Natasha, tell us. So Natasha said, or those in the know, they said that they don't know what went wrong. But when everybody got to the chamber yesterday, right, Akpabiole has kind of like changed the sitting position. Changing the sitting position means Natasha Wundu has a place with her name on the tag, with her name tag on the, you know, on that particular seat for a seat. When she came in, she discovered that they've moved her. They've moved her to some extreme end. Now, here is where the confusion is, okay? Number one, the sitting position of members, right, is determined by the leadership, like the clerk, as well as the leadership of the Senate. They are the ones to say, okay, these people sit here, this one sit here, you sit up there, you sit down. You get what I mean now? And they put their name tag on there. So Natasha suspecting that there was, because last week he called out Akpabiole on, you know, on another kind of like a face-off, right? So they believe that it is because of Akpabiole's, you know, not for, you know, being petty, kind of, prompted him to have shifted Natasha's seat. That's what caused the problem. Never, again, never. Calm down now, for goodness sake. But that's not going to be. So let's go look at the drama. What led to it? How it all, you know what I mean? And then, boom, the escalation. The National Assembly.
Yes, the chief whip point of order.
Distinguished President of the Senate, order please. Distinguished President of the Senate, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Manguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. I am coming under the combined force of Order 6, Rule 2, and Order 24, Rule 2A. Subject to the permission of the President of the Senate, I will read the orders.
Please read.
Order 24, 2A. Order 24 stipulates the duty of the chief whip, and it reads thus: there shall be a chief whip of the Senate. The chief whip shall be a senator nominated from the party with the highest number of seats in the Senate. And 2A said, the chief whip shall maintain order and decorum in the Senate. The duty of the chief whip is to maintain order and decorum. So pursuant to the jurisdiction conferred on the office of the chief whip, for which the chief whip once is desirous of invoking the powers of that office, I will proceed to read Order 6, Rule 2, on page 9 of our rules books. Order 6, Rule 2. Order 6 states, the President of the Senate shall allocate a seat to each senator. 6.2, a senator may only speak from the seat allocated to him, provided the President of the Senate may change the allocation from time to time.
Please read that again.
Okay.
Is that the President of the Senate shall...
The President of the Senate shall allocate a seat to each senator. Yes. And it went further to state that a senator may only speak from the seat allocated to him, provided that the President of the Senate may change the allocation from time to time. So it is at the discretion of the President of the Senate, as circumstances warrant, to change seats as time goes on, based on circumstances that may pop up in the course of the proceedings of the Senate. And in the course of the proceedings of the Senate, 2 senators from the PDP, that is Senator Ned Nwonko.
Which faction of PDP? Which faction?
And
Senator Dixon's faction. Akpabiole.
And also Senator Francis Ezenwa of the Labour Party also decamped to APC, thereby necessitating their movement from the other side to this side, thereby creating vast spaces in the opposition side. And then pursuant to that, and in the exercise of the powers conferred on the Senate President, pursuant to Order 6, Rule 2 and 2A, the President of the Senate decided to rearrange this seat, giving directives to the chief whip to exercise that function. And pursuant to that directive, seats were reallocated. And I was surprised to report that Senator Natasha, having given another seat, refused to vacate her former seat in flagrant violation of our rules. So I am craving for, ordinarily I don't want to bring it to the attention of the Senate, but now that Senator Natasha insisted on staying on her former seat in spite of the rearrangement of the seat, I am craving for indulgence to resume the seat that has been lawfully allocated to her pursuant to the provisions of our rules, and in the exercise of the powers conferred on the Senate President to resume her new seat. If not, the Senate President may decide to exercise the powers conferred on him not to allow her to contribute to any debate from that seat, thereby depriving her constituency of a voice. Thank you.
Well, distinguished
please.
Distinguished Chief Whip of the Senate, your point of order is sustained.
Order, please.
Dismissed Senator Natasha, please, you are not recognized to speak from there. That is the order of the Senate.
Sir, Order 10 on privileges. Order 10 on privileges.
Distinguished Senator Natasha.
Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice. A motion declaring that the content of breach of privilege has been
allowed suspension immediately.
or refer Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice. A motion declaring that the content of breach of privilege has been
suspension immediately.
You have deliberately silenced my voice and the voice of Kogi Central on this block. You have denied me the right to contribute to motions. I have not been able to take the second reading of my numerous debates. So, Mr. Senate President, I am not afraid of what I've been silenced. I will now be shocked to the contrary. I choose, as the senator duly elected by my people, I choose to remain on this seat. Is to suspend me from sitting, and I promise you, the fact that I am suspended does not mean that I will cease to contribute my quota to the development of my people, the women of Nigeria, and Nigeria at large. Mr. Senate President, I have taken a whole lot from you. Now I don't want to speak publicly, but it's because I will tell Nigerians no how you have discriminated against me, how you have maligned me, how you have refused me. Humanize me. Your choice of words is everything that is in the Senate. I'm fucking up between the French to the womankind, and I have tolerated a whole lot. So, Mr. Senate President, I am not afraid of you. Do what you may, but I will not leave this seat.
To Akpabiole, who has the power to allocate seats to every member of the Senate, is also ignoring the same rule book also that allows someone to sit wherever they wanted, citing a particular order or rule of their house. So it's like overruling the ruling of their own rules. And that's Natasha saying that she's had enough. I've had enough of you. I have had enough of your bullying. I've had enough of your this. You've dehumanized me. You've insulted me. You've dissed me. She's right. Akpabiole once addressed her. It's the same way Akpabiole is elected as senator. He wasn't even elected as senator, by the way, but long story short, Akpabiole is representing a place. She's representing a place there of equal level, you know, but that is not how Nigeria works, okay? It's about power. And, you know, Natasha got on that side, and the last time, this is not even the last time, like probably the second or third times that Akpabiole will enter. Akpabiole actually likened that to the girls that he takes to nightclub by saying the what do you call it? The Nigeria Senate is not a nightclub. They had to kind of force Akpabiole to apologize. I can't remember if he did apologize, but yeah, he's been having issues with Natasha, and we have no idea why, right? The last time, this was in July 2024.
Still learning. Even those of us that have been in the Senate for 16 years, we are still learning. So we'll do well to continue to learn. But in the course of my talking to one of my distinguished sisters, that she should speak whenever she's recognized, I made reference to the fact that we are not in a nightclub where people have to shout above the noise of the music. And the social media went agog. I'm not on social media, but my wife called me that people got angry. They published her number and said people should occupy her. So she used to receive, she received over 2,000 to 3,000 phone calls a day. And then I tried to on one of my phones. I realized it was in the public. In fact, the phone crashed after about 3 hours. So I am very happy with the interest generated by Nigerians in what goes on in these chambers, because we are here to cater for their interests. And so for them to be so interested in what goes on here means that we are connecting with the people directly. And it would have been terrible if we were doing all this work and the people were not even aware of what we are doing. But the communication was totally misunderstood. Instead of taking it for the nature of what we said, that you should not shout when you are talking and not and speak when you are recognized, they went into private abuses. I don't want to say what they did to me, because what they did to me, I think I don't merit it. I was telling DSP that it's even the one they should be talking to, because in my tradition, we marry only one wife. So they listed so many wives on social media. And at the end, it will look as if the Senate president had or has so many wives. When indeed, I'm reporting to my colleagues, I have only one. And I'm satisfied with that one. And she's a beautiful and loving woman. I will not intentionally denigrate any woman. I have a wife, I have 4 daughters. And I always pray that God will lift a girl child to the highest zenith in Nigeria, politically and in business. I also want my children to do well. So, distinguished Senator Natasha, I want to apologize to you if you felt offended. If I had mentioned that we are not in the market, they will say I said you are a market woman. If I said that you were not in a nightclub where people shout above the noise of the music, they will say you went to nightclub. If I said you were not in a community meeting in the village, they will say Akpabiole says Natasha is a village woman. For me, there is nothing I will say that will not be misunderstood. But the interest generated in the social media, people jumped in, shows that you have a lot of political enemies. It also shows that I do have enemies. All of us here contested elections with people. So whenever those people think that you are being brought down, they will jump up and they will say all sorts of things. I noticed even some of them that could not pass through Senate screenings went into the fray and abused the Senate president, abused you and all that. I don't know how you took it, but I felt that I should send a public apology to you over the miscommunication and the misunderstanding. So do accept my...
So he actually apologized with long windpipe talk, like nonsense, right? But now we are back to where we were last year, all right? This time he ordered the sergeant at arms to take out of the chamber, and then was already proclaiming a suspension on her. So, and immediately they sent somebody into the media to a TV station to go and tell the world the consequences of what Natasha did to start with. So this guy is a senator as well. He has this to say.
And be thrown out of the chamber is Senator Peter Nwebonyi, Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate. Good morning, Senator Nwebonyi. Great to have you on the morning show today. Thank you, I'm sure you were on the floor. I don't know if you were on the floor yesterday because you're in Lagos this morning. Okay, so great. Thank you for coming here today physically.
Thank you.
Can you share with us what truly transpired? We saw what happened. The video footage has shown us. But from your perspective, what happened yesterday?
Well, thank you so very much, Arise family, for this opportunity to clear the coast on some of this unfortunate incident. It didn't matter the city yesterday. It merely distracted us for 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
Before I go into details, I will tell you the sitting arrangement in the Senate. We have 2 sides of the Senate. The majority party sits at the right-hand side of the presiding officer, while the opposition party sits at the left-hand side of the presiding officer, in this case, the Senate president. And you will agree with me that a few weeks back, some senators from the opposition defected to the ruling party, the APC, thereby creating vacuum within the sitting arrangement in the opposition sitting cycle. And by our rules, particularly Order 6, Rule 1, empowers the presiding officer, which is the Senate president, to reallocate seats to senators where there is defection. And this allocation of seats did not only affect Natasha, it affected other senators within the sitting role of the opposition. And Natasha, instead of moving to the new seat allocated to her, refused to do that. And by doing so, she breached the rule of the Senate. So it's a very unfortunate incident, because to me, it is unwarranted. It shouldn't be. The seats are all the same. It's just for us to have normalcy and without creating vacuum under the sitting arrangement. That is why the Senate president exercises his powers as enshrined in our rules and regulations as a parliament. And that is the parliamentary practice all over the world. So I want to join my colleagues to condemn this unwarranted act.
Senator, real quickly. There's a video making a round of how the same Akpabio protested in 2018. In fact, Akpabio was speaking while he was not being permitted to speak by the then Senate President Bukola Saraki. He was obviously relying on the point of order, the same point of order he ignored in the chamber yesterday to advance his own mission to silence the voice of the perceived disloyal colleague. You know, so for avoidance of that, Senator Akpoti had all her privilege and right to speak at that point, enshrined in the Senate standing room, but he shut her down. Wait a minute. Yeah. This is the same. Akpabio too did the same thing to Saraki. There's video evidence there. I can send it to my producer now to put it on air so that it be facts. He don't lie. Secondly, she complained about persistently suppressing her voice. We all saw when he used words like, this is not a club for his own fellow Senate member. He's not higher than her. He's just first among equals. So he has used words like this, denigrated her. Not only him, all female voices have been stifled in the Senate. Even King Gibe's voice, Regella King Gibe, all of them are complaining. So what they are saying is that there's so much testosterone in the Senate, you suppress female voices. That's what you people are doing.
Well, I will speak of what happened during Saraki's time. That is the 8th Senate. I was a state party chairman then, so I wasn't in the Senate. So I can't speak for what I don't know.
But we can show you the video. We have empirical facts.
Even if,
he did
supposing,
he did the same. Akpabio did the same then.
Supposing, but without conceding that they now right.
Oh, but it was
we must. Senate is the highest lawmaking body in Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, the greatest and the most powerful institution under democracy, and as such, we must conduct ourselves in line with our rules. And the rule says you cannot speak except the presiding officer permits you to speak. Go to Order 6, Rule 5. It's there. So what Natasha did is outrightly outside the provision of our rules. And nothing can remedy it. Nothing can remedy it. And the allegation that he used to suppress the voice of the female senators, I disagree with you.
No, but
the same yesterday.
He said this is not a club now.
The same yesterday.
Was that right for him to have said?
I'm coming. The same
answer. Was that right for him to have said?
He was not addressing her.
No, that the Senate is not a club.
He was talking in passing. Yes.
But he apologized afterwards.
He was advising the entire senator.
No, don't raise your voice, Senator. Keep your voice down.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please don't raise your voice at me.
Thank you.
With due respect.
Thank you, sir.
Keep your voice down.
Thank you.
I'm the moderator here.
Thank you.
Please. He actually apologized after that statement. So that means he showed contrition. That's a fact.
Okay. First and foremost, the statement made by the Senate President on that said day, because I was also in chambers, he was not addressing Senator Natasha. He was addressing the General Senate. The Senate is not a marketplace, a clubhouse, where you can shout on top of your voice the way you want. He's trying to advise us as a father that we should act within the rules of the Senate. He was not addressing Senator Natasha. He was talking to everybody as a presiding officer.
All right, Professor Kila.
Senator Nwaboyim, I do agree with you that the Senate should not be a place of drama.
Good.
You said the chairs are the same. Was there any particular reason why it mattered so much that she changed her chair? Yes. That she didn't want to say that? Is there a particular reason?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
She is not the only senator that was affected by that seat reallocation. Before now, Senator Yayi, that represented Lagos West, now representing Ogun West, was reallocated from his former seat to another seat. Senator Joseph Okalo was reallocated from his former seat to another seat. Senator Ifeanyi Oba was also reallocated. This is a minor thing, normal procedure.
I think she overreacted, but
she overreacted. That is the point.
Okay.
Thank
so
you
let's
for
go.
Admitting that.
I do, but let's now go to another person that overreacted and wonder: do you think the Senate president overreacted in immediately not allowing her to talk, escorting her out, suspending her? I mean, that's the nuclear button.
She was not suspended. She was not escorted out.
She was not.
She was asked to go. She refused.
She refused to go.
Senate president being a father ignored her, and we condemn the business of the day.
All right. Okay. Let me ask a question on.
By the way, the Senate president is not the father. Stop saying that. The Senate president is the first among equal.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Okay, let me take that.
Right.
Let me take that.
Did he birth you? Is he your father?
All right.
But let's go ahead.
Let me just ask a question around House rules, points of order, because that's also quite contentious. And I really want our viewers to understand, and this is an opportunity to learn about the procedure in the House, in the Senate. Usually when a point of order is raised, before a decision is made by the Senate president, but he didn't give her that opportunity. So and he didn't, so that was one. The second part of it was that she made a claim that usually when you want to raise a point in the Senate, your hand is raised and the Senate president has to recognize you before you're allowed to speak. She said she'd been marginalized consistently.
That is the order
so that, yes,
the Senate rule.
Consistently. And so she had to stand up. And if you recall, this has happened in the past between Dino Melaye, Dimeji Bankole, that sometimes, and that's what Rufai was talking about, their voices being, silenced. Is there merit to this? Because I want you to explain to us, because that was evidence of bias from the Senate president, that he didn't, when the point of order was raised by the chief whip, didn't give her an opportunity to either defend herself or not, and then make a decision following that. What do you say about that? Because that's the contention, that there's a lot of marginalization, so share with us and an opportunity to educate her.
He who goes for equity must come with clean hands. Senator Natasha, before yesterday's plenary, has been assigned to a new seat, and she refused to sit on her seat. And our rule is that you can't speak except you are sitting on the seat assigned to you. So, for the Senate president not giving her a chance to speak is in line with the rules. If she has moved to her seat and raised that point of order, I tell you, the Senate president would have given her the opportunity to speak. Our rules are strict. It's not made by Akpabiole. No, you didn't answer my question. Has been there. No, I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay. You're talking of suppressing her voice. Yes. This is the same person that came up with a bill yesterday. The bill was taken. If we were suppressing her voice, we could have taken that bill on the Hospital Bank. But the bill scared first reading. This is a senator, the first day she was sworn in, she was made a committee chairman.
But she's removed from that particular committee.
To another committee. Yeah. It's possible. Yeah. I was chairman of the Senate Committee on Works. But I have to resign because I'm not a principal officer. I'm not chairing any committee. Yeah. These are rules and practices obtainable in every parliament all over the world. You can't speak.
Anyway, that's between Akpabiole, Natasha, and the House leadership. You be the judge. We will leave them in the Senate and go to the House of Reps, the supposed lower chamber, they are called. This issue of USAID funding terrorism in Nigeria has prompted them to call. They too have now invited the service chiefs. All right. But one of the lawmakers there, or lawbreakers there, was pointing out a kind of like a concerning, development, where they said that if you go to some of the areas where this terrorism is thriving, right? Like Borno State, Kaduna, and some other areas, they said most of the property in their state capitals, like choice properties in their state capitals, are owned by NGOs. There's so many NGOs working within the areas where this terrorism is like, really a big thing. And we have seen the meltdown that people have expressed since the stoppage, the 90 days of stoppage of funding for USAID and all that. And everybody was like, man, it's going to be the end of the world, this and that. But to this lawmaker, right, his own point of order is different.
Each time you will see at least 2 to 3 private jets parked there, owned by NGOs. Most of the offices in Maiduguri are owned by NGOs. And Yobe, what are they doing there? And the insurgency is mostly in the north. What are they doing there? My honorable colleagues, we cannot take this as a mere allegation. We must stand as a nation, a sovereign nation, to defend this country. Because what this Trump tenor have done is to give us a leeway, is to wake us up that it's time for us to be free. I believe from what the man have done, he have shows that he loves us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I believe we must rise up to defend Nigeria and defend our brothers that live in the north. Thank you, and may God bless all of us. Each time.
Man said that I believe that what Trump has done is to free us. We look inward. NGOs who are flying private jets, you see them in Africa. There are billions of dollars money coming from America, being shared and all these places, right? And our NGO business in Nigeria or NGO business in Africa na baba business. And they are actually collecting enough money. So we have had these allegations against NGOs in the past. And this is not even like just a mere speculation, okay? This also came from the supposed Nigerian Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa. He alleged that there are some NGOs that are also funding terrorism in Nigeria. So this is like an issue that the Senate in Nigeria, the reps in Nigeria are divided on. Some believes that indeed the evidence of USAID, allegedly funding terrorism coming from the US Congress as well as the US government agency as well. So that makes it pretty much like a serious stuff. So they want to know more, or you will never get to know anything at all after this, So there are those who are pushing the agenda of it is just conspiracy theory. And there are those who are genuinely, right, taking it serious so that hopefully they, like he said, right, it can be a bit of a relief so that when you don't collect all this free money, NGO money, right, then you can possibly begin to pay attention to those who come into your country in the name of NGO and what they are doing. And you can easily sanction those ones that you think are not really who they say or claim to be. So, and that's the same, their Senate. But everybody, you see, everybody has been like realigning themselves, okay? Realigning themselves for 2027. So you have the PDP lawmakers, they campaign to APC. You are seeing Labour Party lawmakers, National Assembly members, states, they campaign to APC. You are seeing some of them who are like the former, what do you call it? Ex lawmakers or ex this or that as well. Also, they campaign to APC. It's like APC. So they had this guy from Jigawa, he's from NNPP. That is Kwakwansop's political party, NNPP from Jigawa. Everybody is decamping to APC. So, I mean, you know, one party state that people are talking about, right, is going to be one party state, this or that. But, you know, it's not really like encouraging. Maybe that's the word or not. I don't know. But every time I see people who, after all they have seen, what they are seeing the APC, what they have done to Nigeria, what they are doing to Nigeria right now, and anyone will kind of still be bold enough to say they are joining APC, because there's no consequences. No consequences, fortunately. The African Wahala, I got your message now, right? So yeah, you can give Celia. So Celia, the African Wahala will kind of like send you a message if you are still watching though, right? So yeah, let's go to that National Assembly again.
Of one of our ranking and vibrant member to at least brighten the house. Honorable colleagues, particularly those in the opposition, I could see Honorable Manu Soros already smiling, acknowledging that he's very happy with what I'm going to read. This letter is coming from Honorable Yusuf Shitu Galambi, member representing Gwaram Federal Constituency of Jigawa State. And his message to the House reads as follows. Notification of change of political party membership. He said, I write to formally notify you and the honorable members of my decision to switch my political party membership from the New Nigeria People's Party to the All Progressive Congress. This decision follows the directives of my constituents who are dissatisfied with the leadership crisis, litigations, and factional disputes within the NPP, which threaten the political future of its members. I appreciate the NPP for providing me the platform to be in this great chamber before the unfortunate division that has now factionalized the party. This decision is in accordance with Section 68 subsection 1G of the 1999 Constitution as amended for your guidance and records. Be rest assured of my commitment to the 10th Assembly, the APC-led government at all levels, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Please accept the assurances of my highest regards. Signed of one of our ranking.
NNPP, they are all kind of giving the same reason. Our party is involved in litigation. Our party is divided. So we have decided to just go and join APC to fill their rank and all of that. You know, you should lose your seat. It's like taking advantage of people who rejected APC. If people wanted APC, they would probably have voted for APC. But unfortunately, it is how they run their business in that contraption. Another area where Wahala Day on the side is in Osun, where Ajogbafida, Governor Ade Dancer, Ade Jackson, has been lamenting over the court judgment that reinstated the local government administrators in his states who happen to be the APC, Egbekebeze people. So Governor Ade Dancer released a state broadcast, right, yesterday. Now, in that broadcast, right, hang on, let me put this, because video lasts longer than, you know. So it seemed that there is nothing he can do. You know, normally they were supposed to have local government elections tomorrow in Osun State, but they said that, you know, INECO, including the police IG and few others, have written to him that he should postpone the election. There should be no election in order not to kind of like cause more problems, okay? in Osun State. Now, I don't know what his position is, but I saw his state broadcast where he addressed the people of Osun State what's going on. And honestly speaking, right, I don't know what to say. But let's go listen to the dancer, Governor Ajogbafida of Osun.
I'm elated to once again address the good people of Osun State and lovers of democracy and rule of law worldwide. After the recent unfortunate incident, which was a result of the illegal forceful takeover of Osun State local government secretariats by the court-sacked APC chairman and councillors, Osun State is back to normalcy as one of the in the federation. Hereby console the families and friends of those who lost their lives and those who sustained injuries in the illegal takeover of the local government secretariat by the court-sacked APC chairman and councillors across the state. The unfortunate incident reminds us that abiding by the rule of law remains the best path for a peaceful Osun State. I particularly commend our people for complying with my directives to stay away from local government secretariats. The compliance saved our state from further confrontations and casualties. It has returned the state of the living spring to its peaceful and loving nature. That ordered their reinstatement should approach the court for the enforcement of the said order of court instead of resorting to self-help, which is illegal. The Nigerian judiciary has its own enforcement procedure, which everyone must follow. If you have a genuine court order, follow the court enforcement protocols. As a government, we have read through the said judgment. We have submitted it to the best of legal minds for interpretation. There is nowhere a reinstatement order was issued. The judgment in the ABP suit, which sacked the APC chairman and councillors, is still subsisting and alive. The appeal by APC against this judgment did not succeed at the Court of Appeal. The APC appeal was this. Our state remained truly peaceful. Finally, I urge all registered voters to vote in the local government election on Saturday, 22nd February 2025, and to conduct themselves peacefully at all times. Once again, I appreciate the law of democracy and the rule of law worldwide. Osun is the hub of democratic ideas, the home of true democrats. I thank you for listening. I am elated to once again address.
Hi, Ade Jackson. Alaye is like, I talked to you all, shoes like that. Kind of. It feels so stressed, man. I mean, the guy, I'm not sure the guy is, is made for that kind of stress, but it sounded so stressed. So which means they are going to have the local government election in Osun State tomorrow. 5 people have been confirmed killed since the time the APC, Egbe said they were taking over local government areas according to the appeal court ruling on the matter. So at the dancer, no, that's not what the court said. And if you believe that is the judgment of the court, then ask the court to come and enforce the judgment. I don't even understand what that means. So they will need to go and get a court order that says, okay, what we are saying is they should go back, I think. But apart from that, man, we are still probably going to see a lot of people get killed tomorrow again. That's some, that's some scary shit, man. People are going to be shot and killed tomorrow again, and it's going to be, APC versus PDP. The APC are saying there should be no election anymore. because our tenure has not finished. But the court has reinstated us as local government administrators. Now, the PDP want to do their own election tomorrow, where they are going to have their own elected chairman and thing, right? And then it will just be like, who is going to claim? Okay. But on the side, right, they are celebrating the 100 days in office of Akpabiole. Akpabiole is the Dodoyo governor of Edo State, installed by, Adamu Oshiomhole. Now, Oshiomhole, who hosted Akpabiole yesterday, they had days to sing in celebrating their 100 days in office.
The miracle working God, your name is Yahweh.
100 days ago, just 100 days ago, you made Monday the government of Edo. 100 days ago, just 100 days ago, you made Monday governor of Edo. And right now, is governor just Yahweh, Yahweh, your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is Yahweh. By tomorrow, just by tomorrow, our governor will show to the people what he has been doing. Hey! He will show Edo people what he has been doing. Yahweh, Yahweh, your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is Yahweh. Yeah. Monday has used his power to fix bad roads. Monday use power to fix bad roads. Everybody! Yahweh, your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is Yahweh. Only 100 days. Even teachers are beginning to get new employment. I'm telling you. New teachers of Edo State are getting employment. I say, oh, Yahweh, your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is the miracle working God.
Nuisance, Lily.
That video could become golden, right? When Akpabiole will come for Oshiomhole. And when that time happens, when that time comes, right, the diary will have a copy of this. Your name is Yahweh. You are the miracle working God. Your name is Yahweh. You go see how Yahweh go the Yahweh that time, you know. But if everybody is collecting their agreed rubber, there will be no wahala. Now, when they stop sharing it as agreed, that is when you begin to hear bonam, kill am, shoot am. For now, everybody is getting what they were promised, and everything seems to be fine right now in the camp of Oshiomhole, as well as his godson, Akpabiole, Ododoyo, governor of Edo. Anyway, while others were camping around, IBB, Babangida, Atifku and the El-Rufai, they were spotted, visiting the families of Edwin Clark. Edwin Clark don't die as well. Like Ayo Adebanjo is dead, Pa Ayo Adebanjo is dead, Pa Edwin Clark, they are both dead now. And they died in their 90s, by the way. So Atifku and El-Rufai, they are back in the same camp, if you want to probably put it that way, right? And in their own united travesty, or anyway, as strange bedfellows, right? So in their unity to get TINUBU Titrogi out, it seemed that at accidental public servants. El Rufaya of Kaduna, the Kaduna Little Finger, has gone back to his vomit. So the same guy who brought him into politics to start with, under Obang Paro, this Obasanjo's time, right? So they were both there. Listen to what they had to say, visiting the Edwin Clarks.
Sorry.
It's Nigerians must, not only Niger Delta. He was a pan-Nigerian. Anybody paying tribute to him and confines him to only the Niger Delta is not being fair to his services, to his sense of patriotism, and to his struggles in this country. Therefore, on behalf of the entourage that I have led here this afternoon, we want to offer our deepest condolences with gratitude to God for a life well lived. And we pray for the repose of his soul, and we identify the members of the family, Niger Delta people, and Nigerians in general over this loss.
Nobody gives Vice President Atiku Abubakar the credit for leading the economic policy making under the OBASANJO administration. Many of the things that we did, from BBE to the economic team, was under his leadership. But maybe because we don't write a lot and people don't read history, we tend to forget. We only remember negative things. And I think it's part of human nature to remember only negative things and forget positive things. I'm honored and humbled to come with Vice President Atiku Abubakar to condole this family and commend the work that DK Clark has done. And I call on you as a family and the other family behind them to please continue your good work. The most important part of that good work is to do what he has always stood for. One Nigeria.
El Rufaya, Kaduna Little Finger. He's been doing some image laundering, like repackaging himself, by the way, ahead of your 2027 charade. And is kind of like strategically positioning himself as well among those you are going to consider as those who are coming to rescue you. For the gullible ones who believes that the El Rufaya of this world, they are involved in anything to rescue anybody. They are not. Just so you know that, okay? Right. Let's leave the El Rufaya part, okay? And, maybe we should stop by in London, because there was two days ago, right? There was this massive protest in London, and it is by the people of Ogoniland in river states of this Niger Delta of Nigeria, where they are demanding that Shell should be held responsible for the environmental degradation, the environmental destruction of that Niger Delta in that part of Nigeria. I mean, we had protesters, by the way, as well, who were screaming, justice for Nigeria, not about this Ogoni man, was out to explain to who cared to listen what it's like in Niger Delta.
No cleanup, no justice. No cleanup, no justice.
I am bleeding in my heart. And when I talk about this, I get emotional. very sad indeed. This is not funny. My people are dying. Can somebody smell this water? The water that Shell has left for my people. This is poison. This is poison. And they are spending millions of dollars to pay the best lawyers in the world so that they will not claim my land.
No cleanup, no justice.
No cleanup, no justice. Clean up Ogoni land, clean up the Niger Delta, stop the environmental degradation, stop the gas flaring, and stop the water pollution or poisoning, water, soil, poisoning that people have had to, kiss goodbye to aquatic life, or, even feeding from their own streams or drinking from their own stream or drinking the stream water, So it is that bad. All right. Well, let's leave London and go to Lagos. Okay. So in Lagos, right, where Wahabi Wole, Wahabi now, Tokumbo Wahab, right? They gave warning, according to him, they gave warning to these street traders, right, in somewhere in Dumota, and the ultimatum has now lapsed. So they had to leave, but they are not leaving, except that Wahabi Wole and his crew were there, right, to do what they know how to do best, like smash everything like that. So that's the mega city in Lagos. getting rid of illegal structures, right? Where people turn everywhere to, to their stall, where they have to display their wares and all that, right? Shanties in the mega city. Meanwhile, in Anambra, you remember the Anambra vigilantes? Akpabiole said the vigilantes, they've started collecting their own road, they've started setting up their own roadblock, collecting rubber from people. And wherever people disagree, right, then there will be wahala like this one.
They control your phone. They control your phone.
Vigilante don't they collect their own rubber roadblock. The same vigilantes have also joined they use them as the task force as well. And that's how they do their own I don't know if that's woman's shop that was being the shed that was being demolished or destroyed. I don't know if that is in violation of what do you call that again? In violation of public structure, like obstructing public whatever. I don't know. But there are better ways of handling things, in my own opinion, than that thuggish, outish, violent ways that I have seen so far. A lot shall they happen for that contraption, a lot. And as much as I don't have all the resources I need, to catch up like as usual, like bomber to bomber, then the time difference is also not a great asset in this regard. Okay, so it's 4 p.m. in Houston right now, and I bet it is past 10 o'clock in the UK and maybe past 11 o'clock in Nigeria. I don't know the time in Nigeria right now, but it's going to be between, right? So I will continue to use every available chance I have, okay, to share with us, just to fill in the gap. So I have just one more week here. We have one more week here, all right? So next week, Saturday, we are going to be on our way back. And by Sunday, maybe jet lag and stuff like that, right? So definitely by Monday, the 3rd, I would be much like on ground, hopefully. But until then, we are still going to be doing it like this. Make use of the resources that we have, like myself, right? Make use of 11 p.m. See, so make use of the resources that I have until when I am back in what do you call it, in Glasgow. So here is the street, the streets here, where I am. So, and it is afternoon, all right? So, again, I am just pretty much like improvising, okay? So, thank you so much for your time. See, the weather in Houston is so cold as well. Like when I say cold, it's like freezing cold, right? So, and the other thing that it gives me here is that it kind of gives me the Niger vibe, right? It's so chilly, it's so kind of calm. Right. So thank you so much. And yeah, that's my car. So thank you so much for joining me this evening or this afternoon. I'm going to see you again maybe on Sunday. But remember, if you have to go now, remember that you should like this broadcast, like it, share it, invite your friends and then your not so friendly friends as well. And if you joined us midway, it is also ideal for you that you can rewind this whole broadcast and watch it from the start again, okay? Which is brilliant, if you ask. Sorry. So everyone else, right? Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Garba Live, Celia, the Africa Wala is going to possibly message you. Is the liaison officer, the person that can get you. If you have the contact of the African Wahala and you are within the Houston area or what have you, it will get you across to me. So I met Ahmed 2 days ago. Was it? Yeah, 2 days ago. It was amazing guy. But I'll give you back the trip. I'll give you the details of the trip when we get back to Glasgow. For now, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me or your evening, whichever one. I'll see you again. You have a good one.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Maiyegun dayari political. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹ́gọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun dayari IBB #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Presidiot bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀lọ́mọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí abínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.